animals right now, and it's pretty miserable.
Awesome.
And on top of that, I forgot our dogs were outside when he came to mow. So the white one looks like the Incredible Hulk now because he's got grass
Oh
stains
yeah,
all
the
over him.
grass stains. I'm like,
It's kind of funny.
oh,
He's a little Jack Russell version of the Incredible Hulk. So there's that, But we made it through the show yesterday for a couple hours. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we had that last hour, guys.
it
And
happens.
I just could not miss today's Libertarian Drama of the Week, though. You know it's
Right.
going to be good when it involves a guy named Chris and somebody turning Infoma a leaky boom boom. Wow.
Right. Also today from cryptocurrencycheck.org, we've got the queen of crypto herself, Miss Aria Demezio. How you doing, Aria?
I don't know if Arya is on today. Arya's, been dealing with health issues with one of her kitties.
Yeah.
And it sounded like the other one had caught it, so she could have had a medical emergency. I also note that there's some douche
Kitty cat syphilis.
There's some douche in the Discord that was like doxing the heck out of her yesterday, and it's really infuriating.
Really?
So, it's James. He got a new name after his other one finally got banned. Now he's Jim, and his picture is what appears to be a Middle Eastern guy with a stereotypical mustache. What a fart blossom.
How original.
So, James...
No, really. I'm so
away.
unimpressed by James that yawn was real.
Seriously.
Who is Big Loaf? Looks like we've got a caller on the call-in line. We haven't even gotten to start our.
He's one of our amplifiers.
He is, but I am trying ever so hard to get into the. Oh, there we go. And hey there, Big Loaf. How you doing?
Big Loaf, you there with us? He's on mute. It'll be all right. Maybe he was trying to connect to the audio stream, which is the next line
that's the
down.
one below that. The one below it. So we've got news today. We've got a lady. She's 5 years in prison for voting while on probation. And no, I'm not kidding. Let's see here. You've got this lady. She got in some trouble, and because of the fact she got into a little trouble, I guess she wasn't technically allowed to vote. And because of that, she got in a whole bunch of trouble and is now going to go do some time in prison. Then we've also got another story we're definitely going to get to. We covered part of the story earlier this week. Noor Salman has been acquitted.
Yes, justice actually served for once.
Yes, Noor Salman has been acquitted in the Pulse nightclub shooting. Let's see what else we got here. Punish a Muslim Day is coming.
Great.
I have non-Muslim friends who have come to me on more than one occasion. We're probably going to hit that a little bit as well. Part of Libertarian Drama of the Week. Okay, you're definitely going to cover that. All right, so let's see here. We're going to start with this poor lady because, it's a pretty up and down story. This young lady, her name's Crystal Mason. She insisted her mother insisted that she vote in the 2016 presidential election. When she went to her polling place, she found her name wasn't on the rolls. A poll worker helped her fill out a provisional ballot of the sort given to people who aren't on the rolls, and she cast it. 5 years earlier, Mason had pleaded guilty to tax fraud and was ordered to pay $4.2 million in restitution.
Good Lord.
She was sentenced to 5 years in prison as well as 3 years of supervised release. Though Mason says she didn't realize it at the time, by casting the provisional ballot in 2016, she'd committed another felony. Texas prohibits anyone convicted of a felony from voting and only allows them to vote once they have entirely finished their sentence, including any probation, parole, and supervised release. In Texas, it's a second-degree felony to vote in an election in which you know you are not eligible. On Wednesday, State District Judge Ruben Gonzalez sentenced Mason to 5 years in prison for illegally voting, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Mason says she had no idea that she was ineligible, but Gonzalez pointed out that an affidavit at the top of the provisional ballot notes that people on supervised release can't vote. Yeah, but that's so small. Nobody ever reads any of that stuff. Oh my God, they even have to circle it in the article so that you know where it is. And it's like, it's like ultra fine print, legalese. So
yeah. I mean, I have to insist on clarity here because, what she was sentenced for was a violation of probation.
Yes.
She didn't get 5 years for voting illegally. She got 5 years for violating her probation, and she was on 5 years
probation for tax fraud. Yes, but she committed a felony by voting. So
right. Well, any offense would have done it though.
Yeah. She could have farted in a little too close to a judge and offended his nose and got called for contempt of court and got 5 years.
But you see, this right here is what drives me nuts about the way that probation is used now. This is exactly what they want. Is they entice someone who is facing a prison sentence, which is way too lengthy in the first place because our laws are draconian, with, well, you can be on probation instead and not do jail time now, or you can get out early and be on supervised release. You just have to fulfill these terms. And then what happens is they commit some minor offense, which is a technical violation, and boom, prosecutors get to claim they got a long prison sentence and they don't even have to follow due process.
That's right.
It really ticks me off.
All right, when we get back here, we're going to get into one of the biggest stories going around. First, they found out that her husband's dad was working for the feds, and I guess that was enough to push the jury over the edge and decide, well, Noor Salman was not guilty in the Orlando shootings. We'll get into that story when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
Nothing you do or say will ever reach the lofty heights attained by the following news summary. This is the Onion Week in Review. Facing increased market pressure and a shrinking bottom line, media company Star Trove was forced to lay off dozens of unskilled bloggers this week. Sources confirmed that before being dismissed, many of the bloggers had been with the company for months, regularly performing menial tasks such as describing celebrity outfits and composing quizzes about Disney characters.
I mean, I'd been with this company for almost a year. It wasn't the most rewarding job, and I didn't have health insurance, but it paid the bills. I'm already 25 years old. I just don't know where to go from here.
In other news, a 6-day visit to a rural African village completely changes a woman's Facebook profile picture. A new dating website helps plus-size Jewish plane crash survivors find love. And a kid figures he'll go down the slide 36 more times and then call it a day.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You are listening to The Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So we're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, well, once in a while we get the opportunity to say, finally, justice has been done. And this, thank goodness, is one of those opportunities. This story comes from the New York Times. It came out today, just a little while ago, actually. It's from Orlando, Florida. Says Noor Salman, the widow of the man who gunned down dozens of people at the Pulse nightclub 2 years ago, was found not guilty by a federal jury on Friday of helping her husband carry out a terrorist attack in the name of the Islamic State. Jurors acquitted Ms. Salman of charges of aiding and abetting the commission of a terrorist act in a 2016 mass shooting and also found her not guilty of obstructing justice. She'd been accused of giving misleading statements to law enforcement officers who interviewed her after the massacre. The worst terrorist attack on American soil since September 11, 2011. At the time, it was also the deadliest mass shooting in the United States history. Now, Ms. Salman, 31, faced a sentence of up to life if convicted. The verdict marked a rare setback for federal prosecutors who have a strong record of winning convictions in terrorism trials, even more so because Ms. Salman had faced a jury in Orlando, Florida, the city where her husband's shooting spree left 49 people dead and 53 others injured. The jury deliberated for a little more than 12 hours over 3 days before reaching their verdict this morning. Salman wiped tears from her eyes after the verdict on the first charge was read. By the time the judge's clerk announced the final not guilty, Miss Salman openly sobbed. So did a cousin and 2 uncles seated 2 rows behind her in court. One uncle nearly leapt out of his seat. Miss Salman, her face red and blotchy with emotion, turned around to look at them. Defense attorneys hugged. They too wept. It was a difficult case for all sides. She thanked the jurors. Sarah Sweeney, the assistant U.S. attorney, said, "We respect their verdict." The families.
It wasn't a difficult case for her. It never is a difficult case for the AUSAs.
Oh, of course not.
It drives me. Go ahead and finish the story, but then I've got one to share of my own that's semi-related.
I said day one she's innocent, Mr. Salmon said. I came here to tell you I told you so, said her father. From the start, Miss Salmon had insisted she had nothing to do with her husband's rampage. Prosecutors built a convincing case that Mr. Mateen methodically made arrangements for the attack, but they were less successful in tying her to those actions. They relied on a confession that she gave FBI agents in which she admitted she had known about her husband acquiring weapons and watching videos and discussing possible locations in preparation for the attack. The defense lawyers argued that Salmon's statement was obtained after more than 11 hours of questioning without a lawyer present. Oh,
boom.
You mean you mean federal prosecutors broke the law in order to obtain a confession? No.
And I'm sure that they'd tell you, but we.
Oh, you mean like the confession they got from
blah.
the Boston kid, where they like. That was another confession that was extracted after hours of being interrogated, and that was a teenager. Yeah, the U.S., she was a suspect, and they wanted to get a confession, except for she was still denying she knew anything. So basically, they kept her against her will and forced a confession out of her, and it seems that they were able to convince the jury that that's what happened.
Or that she never lied in the first place.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, is that they were able to convince the jury that they forced a confession out of her that wasn't true. It wasn't a real, genuine confession, that she was coerced.
Here's the key, though. They may have convinced the jury of that, but think about this. If they had convinced a judge of that, this never would have gone that far. The judge let it happen.
He's a federal judge. They all work on the same team. The only person that's not on the same team as the state is the jury.
And even that's debatable sometimes.
Yeah. Well, many times. Many times it's debatable. Guilt by association is not the law as much as so many people would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's a great quote right there. And that's what we want in America. You know, we like to act like that's not, I mean, our legal system is built on the opposite of that. But, you know.
The very first case that I was ever involved in that went to a jury, it was a federal case, and it was very much like this. And I was interning at the time for the Federal Defender's Office in Abingdon, Virginia. And what had happened was that there was a guy who was on the run, and he was on the run unbeknownst to his cousin, who was our client. And he stayed at her house. She didn't know he was on the lam. She didn't know he was wanted at all. And the feds showed up, and he fled out the back door. And she knew he had fled, by the way. Mm-hmm. They asked her, quote, "Is so-and-so in the house?" She said no, because he was not in the house. Mm-hmm. They caught him. They prosecuted him unsuccessfully. So they got mad and they prosecuted her, claiming that she made a false statement that impeded the course of a federal investigation.
I got arrested for that one time, and they dropped the charges before it ever went to court.
Was it at state level or at federal level?
It was state level, and it was basically the same exact thing that you just said. It was a guy, he had left the scene of a car accident. He came in without my knowledge. Like, he didn't knock on the door. He just came in the house. Told me what he had done. I told him to leave and get out. That, you know, I didn't need that trouble there, that I was at work at a private residence at a mutual friend of ours, and he needed to leave. And I didn't know that while he was in the house, he grabbed a portable phone. Mm-hmm. And when the police showed up, they asked if he was there, and I was like, no, he was here. I made him leave. And they found him hiding, like, the house was on a lake, and he was hiding down the bank where you couldn't see him, with the phone from inside the house in his hand. So they arrested me for obstruction.
See, it doesn't fly at the state level. It never does. At the federal level, what they do is they use the Enron statute, which says if you're impeding a federal investigation, except that statute was intended for like SEC investigations or regulatory stuff. It was never intended for just the cops are poking around and you tell them something and it turns out to be wrong. But that's what they use it for. And they don't use it to go after the white-collar criminals. They use it to go after everyday people who just happen to be in the general vicinity.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcom studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's, the snow is melting outside. We are working our way towards spring. And, well, we had some good news today. The Salmon Tour case came back. She's been acquitted. The jury was unconvinced that the confession that was extracted from her after 11 hours without an attorney present wasn't coerced, and it was a reasonable doubt that she was involved. So now she gets to go back to trying to create some semblance of a normal life after the horrible attack that happened in Orlando. But things like that have inspired, well, basically stupidity has a tendency to inspire stupidity. So I've got a story here about some stupidity supposedly going on this weekend. This is from Vermont, and this story actually caught the attention of the Libertarian Party candidate for governor here in New Hampshire, who called me just a couple of days ago about it. This is from WCAX Channel 3 in Vermont.
Targeting Muslims, and while it has not come here yet, a local school district is already taking action. Taylor Young joins us live in studio to explain what that threat is. Taylor.
Well, Kat, it was a letter anonymously delivered to several mosques in London. It declares April 3rd as Punish a Muslim Day. Participants receive points for acting violence against Muslims. They range from removing a woman's hijab to bombing a mosque. And with just days away, Muslims in Vermont fear they could be targeted.
I still continue to be really angry about that.
Monday morning, Muslim students told Winooski School Superintendent Sean McCannon about Punish a Muslim Day, an international threat set for April 3rd. Winooski is Vermont's most diverse school district, and McMahon says it's disappointing his students still have hateful rhetoric directed at their religion.
They were very upset about it, and they were very worried, and many of them, unfortunately, have been through this before.
McMahon plans to send a memo to parents about the threat and says there'll be conversations in the classroom to inform students as well.
You basically punishing them for being Muslim, and it's just horrible.
Cassandra Brasso is a junior at Winooski High School. She says she can't imagine anything like that happening here.
We all know each other. I don't think anybody would do that here.
Parents we spoke with agree, but are still saddened.
Kids shouldn't have to feel worried about coming to school.
And while the threat has largely been directed overseas, it brings back bad memories here too. In 2016, the Islamic Society of Vermont received an anonymous letter in the mail.
Told us that we don't belong here.
And what was it like to receive something like that?
Well, we were in the beginning shocked, but when we received the overwhelming support, it was something we can digest easily.
But in the weeks following that threat,
we are with you.
The mosque received hundreds of these personalized letters.
Our mailbox was full. We couldn't even put our letters in to send it out.
Taysir Al-Khatib says despite the previous threat, he believes Vermont is the safest state for Muslims.
You feel like you are welcome. You feel you are part of the community.
When April 3rd rolls around, both he and McMahon are confident Muslims in Vermont will be safe. And so far, I could only find one report of a threatening letter in the U.S., and it wasn't Vermont. Again, there has been no direct threat of violence against Muslims in Winooski. The school district's actions are just a precaution.
Tonight, an international threat targeting Muslims.
Shut up. So, to me, for the U.S., it's kind of much ado about nothing. There's a huge freak out in the Muslim community in the U.S. over this. I got a call from the Libertarian Party governor candidate here in New Hampshire, and was like, so she'd saw this story, and she was like, what did I think? And I'm like, what do I think about what? You know, like, there's a sign on the door that says judicious marksmanship is appreciated. You know, like, what do you want me to think? There's enough pictures of me walking around with AR-15s and AK-47s for people to know that this is the. I mean, maybe another mosque in another town might be a good idea. It's not a good idea to come around here. So, but there has already been a murder in the UK in relation to this here. Are you still there, Tom? Did you go to bed?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm letting you talk. This is definitely a Will story. I mean, this is your community. This is your people that are under direct threat. So I'm going to let you talk.
I don't even see, like she said, this is New Hampshire, it's Vermont, like there has been, it happened. I've got here in Detroit, there was a letter sent to around there, but that's it, but it's Michigan, you expect that because it's like the Muslim capital of the country. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of expect it there to see somebody sent a letter. But, this is New Hampshire. Nobody's doing anything here. And if they do, like I've literally got people, like the business owners on either side of me have AR-15s they keep at work. So I'm really not particularly worried about it.
You're fortunate. I mean, if it was you lived in Tennessee, that something like that around here would be a much bigger potential threat.
Not in Knoxville so much. Not in Nashville. Middle Tennessee, yes. Eastern Tennessee, no, I've found. You just don't see it as much in East Tennessee. I do know that the Eastern Tennessee community, like they keep a police officer parked out in front of the mosque at all times pretty much anyway. That they pay to be there, like the mosque actually pays for him to be there, and that was after I was asked not to bring a gun to the mosque.
Yeah, because you can totally trust the overwhelmingly Trump voting cops to be your only means of protection against other Trumpkins.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Totally legit.
I'm totally gonna. Well, I mean, even before Trump, it's like, okay, you guys believe that the police are racist, right? Yes. So we should have them stand in front of this building filled with minorities to protect us. Why? Because they're the government and it's their job. Oh my God. Have you learned nothing since you moved to this country?
You don't want to know the answer to that.
No, I do know the answer to that. What do you mean?
You do know it.
I've been Muslim for 10 years. I run a mosque now. I've been in leadership in Muslim communities for 6 or 7 years now. No, I know the answer to that question, and I don't like the answer to that. Yes,
well, that's what I meant. Don't you kind of wish you didn't?
They have learned, and it's all the worst things for them to have possibly learned. It's all the things that you're like, oh, could you not have learned something else?
Like truth.
Yeah, instead of like a love for taxes.
Constructive or useful.
Right. Well, like I'm having this whole thing right now where the cops are literally the Gestapo and literally the SS. Well, until they're Somali and they shoot a white lady, and then we need to like circle the wagons and act like it's a special instance of a police shooting an unarmed civilian because, oh, well, he's a member of our group, so we should act like the police act since they're hanging him out to dry, because it's just so much to unpack. It makes me want to put my head through a wall sometimes. Maybe you could call in and help me unpack it. Give us a call, 603-283-6160. We'll be back here on the Call to Freedom.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
Can one really own an idea? And I say no. Let's think about and go through the thought process of why I say that you can't own an idea. There have been lawsuits between Victoria's Secret and the Susan G. Komen Foundation over pink. Not the singer Pink. It's the word and the color that has caused Victoria's Secret and Susan G. Komen to go to court. The Lance Armstrong Foundation and some other entity wound up going to court over the color yellow and the word strong. It's pretty ridiculous when people can start claiming to own colors and the words of colors.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And so we got this, I got this little thing here I found. I have a friend. I guess you could call him like a college roommate, basically. And he's a he's a former prosecutor in Orange County, Florida. He just left there to go into private practice. And I love the discussions I have on his page, because it's like all these people who are raging statists, they all work for the state, and they're all working in these prosecutors' offices and stuff. And I love going in there and just poking them in the eye because it's fun. And there was a discussion going on about this particular case here, and I thought it was kind of interesting. There's I think there's a little video that goes along with it, and basically the Innocence Project at the University of Virginia Law School formed in
my alma mater, by the way.
In 2008, in an effort to assist those who've been wrongly convicted. For the first time, an Iowa Supreme Court has ruled that people who plead guilty to crimes may challenge their convictions if new evidence of their innocence emerges. The court ruled Friday in a 4-3 decision. Let's see here. In a 4-3 decision, that in the case of Jacob L. Schmidt, who pleaded guilty in 2007 of sexually abusing his 14-year-old half-brother the year before. Years later, in 2014, Schmidt's half-brother began telling others that the abuse had actually never occurred. The court said last week that Schmidt's case should be returned to the district court in Woodbury County, which is now allowed to consider the new evidence of Schmidt's innocence. It is time that we refuse to perpetuate a system of justice that allows actually innocent people to remain in prison, even those who profess guilt despite their actual innocence. Justice David Wiggins wrote in the majority opinion, which was joined by Chief Justice Mark Cady and Justices Darrell Hecht and Brent Apple. The ruling is, quote, definitely the first time that the Iowa Supreme Court has recognized the actual innocence claim, said Brian Farrell, a law professor at the University of Iowa. Farrell, also the co-founder and president of the board of directors of the Innocence Project of Ohio, which wrote an amicus brief supporting Schmidt's appeal. That makes Iowa one of about 14 states in the country to recognize such claims, said Farrell, who called the ruling an 8 or 9 out of a 10 points on a 10-point scale of significance. The ruling places people who are convicted through voluntarily guilty pleas on the same legal footing as those convicted at trial if they wish to challenge their convictions. Tom, what do you say about that?
During when I read the article during the break, I was like, oh, this doesn't really mean as much as the popular opinion might think it does. I'm reading the case right now. This is huge. The way that the court is characterizing guilty pleas. Listen to this. This is from the actual decision. I'd have to lose my place in order to tell you the name of the case, but we'll get to that before we go off for the crypto hour break. But this is from page 16 of the actual Iowa Supreme Court decision. Quote, a plea does not weed out the innocent. Rather, a plea is an explicit agreement between the prosecutor and the defendant that establishes a going rate. Specifically, the anticipated sentence is the central concern in the negotiation. But the problem is that both innocent and guilty defendants are placed in the same pot, and the goal is to achieve the appearance of justice, not the realization of it. Pleading guilty does not automatically mean that the defendant is actually guilty. Sometimes an innocent defendant is choosing the lesser of two evils, pleading guilty despite his or her actual innocence because the odds are stacked up against him or her, or going to trial with the risk of losing and the prospect of receiving a harsher sentence.
Oh, wait.
Innocent defendants...
Wait, there's another one, though. There's another one,
Yeah.
Because this is how I got mine.
Okay.
The jail itself is so bad, the backlog of the court so much, and the bond so high that you have another 6 or 7 months in jail to look at before you ever see a courtroom.
Yes. Yeah, they go on to talk about
after already being in jail for 5 months.
So then what they go on to recognize, and I have never seen a case like this. Usually, the courts say, well, if you plead guilty, then that's an already decided fact that we're not going to revisit. And that, of course, has been a huge bar to people challenging their guilty pleas. And what happened in this case, by the way, and this happens in a lot of cases, is the victim recanted. And, you know, if it was a civil case, you'd say, well, that's a change in the underlying facts. We never would have made this settlement offer or agreed to it if we had known all the facts. the criminal defendants haven't been allowed to argue that. And in Iowa, now they can. Now the court is recognizing for the first time in Iowa that that a change in the actual facts changes the nature of the guilty plea. This is pretty enormous.
Okay, now
it's only in Iowa, so go ahead.
What does that mean as a legal precedent for someone who lives in Tennessee?
It doesn't mean anything yet. What's going to happen is that other state Supreme Courts would have to adopt the same logic, because what's happening, there's not a federal case on it, nor would there be. Because what Iowa is interpreting here is their own post-conviction relief statute. And that leads me to the really bad news here in just a minute. But the court is interpreting it is a statute that was passed by the legislature, and basically saying, the legislature says you can challenge any conviction. We previously said a guilty plea is not the same as a conviction. Now we're recognizing it is. But here's what's going to probably happen, because this is the way the state works. The prosecutors are the ones who write the laws. The laws are written to be favorable to the state to the maximum extent possible, because the Constitution is favorable.
Say that again. Say that again.
The laws?
No. About the prosecutors.
The prosecutors are the ones who control the way the laws are written, statutes.
Because the prosecutors are the ones who become governors. The prosecutors are the ones who become senators. The prosecutors are the ones who become politicians and then write the laws in the state capitol.
And nobody will knock you for being backed by or even having funding from prosecutors as a political candidate. But if you are backed by the defense bar, then a candidate from anywhere on the right side of the spectrum, including most Democrats, will crucify you for being backed by the criminal defense bar. Oh, you're soft on crime. Oh, you love criminals. Well, what's going to happen, because this case interpreted Iowa's post-conviction relief statute, what's going to happen is the Iowa legislature will change the statute. They will change the statute to match what the Supreme Court had said before, which was you can only get post-conviction relief if you were actually convicted by a jury or a judge. They will write it so that guilty pleas do not count as convictions, and so that you can't challenge them in appellate courts the way the court's allowing here. That would be my prediction for Iowa, and that will unfortunately put the kibosh on any attempt to go to another state Supreme Court and say, well, hey, look, Iowa has grown up and joined the 21st century when it comes to the way these things really work at the trial court level. You should too. No, they're gonna change it, and it's not a federal issue, unfortunately. You already couldn't do this under federal habeas corpus laws, because those do expressly say, it's post-conviction relief, not post-guilty plea relief. If you want to challenge a guilty plea, you have to say, well, the plea wasn't voluntary. And it's just because you end up getting a bad plea deal doesn't mean it's, not voluntary. So it's kind of a mess.
I had a friend that passed up an 8-year plea deal because his attorney just told him flat out, like, there's no way they can do this to you. You're going to be fine. He got 3 10-year sentences, run consecutive, not concurrent.
See, he would be in a better position than someone who did plead guilty, actually, because he can claim ineffective assistance of counsel.
Yeah.
So, in a way, the attorney probably thinks he did him a favor, but he actually didn't.
Yeah. Poor guy got 30 years, man.
Yep.
30 years, no parole.
Lawyers suck sometimes.
Florida gun laws, man. Well, when we get back, it's time for the Crypto Hour. So we've got the best in this week's crypto news. Don't go anywhere. Be right back here on the Call to Freedom.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.36 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,326 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,793. Antiwar.com reports, speaking Thursday at a rally, President Trump said that the U.S. is likely to pull troops out of Syria very soon, saying they'll let the other people take care of it now. The U.S. officially has around 2,000 troops in Syria. Trump told the rally that they were knocking the hell out of the Islamic State and that the last of the Islamic State territory is soon to be recovered. His presentation of this as the end of the U.S. war in Syria is not in keeping with what other administration officials say, however. The Pentagon has been talking up new military goals in Syria for months on end, with Defense Secretary James Mattis saying troops would stay in Syria to prevent the creation of the Islamic State 2.0. The State Department pled ignorance to Trump's comments, saying that they were unaware of any planned withdrawals from Syria. That's unsurprising, however, as President Trump has often made off-the-cuff statements of policy without giving other officials a heads up. Trump's position on a pullout is in keeping with his own view of Syria as a very narrow anti-the Islamic State war, but a lot of other officials have staked out their own position, essentially mirroring the U.S. plan for permanent deployment in Iraq. Iraq and Syria are both parts of the same the Islamic State war, after all, but has a serious distinction. Iraq has welcomed U.S. troops in their country, at least for now, while Syria never authorized a U.S. deployment. Syria continues to declare U.S. forces in their country as unwelcome, and it would be very difficult for the U.S. to maintain an open-ended military presence there. While U.S. troops in Syria are not currently involved in a lot of combat, their withdrawal would extricate them from a tense situation with Turkey. Turkey intends to invade certain Kurdish regions where U.S. troops are currently embedded and seems set to do so whether the U.S. remains or not. The suggestion of a pullout may encourage Turkey to be patient for a time on that matter. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Black Lives Matter activists protested again in Sacramento on Thursday over the shooting by police of an unarmed man, calling for criminal charges against the officers after an emotional funeral service for the 22-year-old father of two. At least 60 protesters gathered outside the Sacramento County District Attorney's office holding signs such as "Prosecute" and "Justice for Stephen Clark." Clark's death was the most recent in a string of fatal shootings by police that have triggered protests across the United States and renewed a national debate about bias in the United United States criminal justice system. At the funeral service, veteran civil rights leader Reverend Al Sharpton addressed a congregation of hundreds. Sharpton said, "We're going to make President Donald Trump and the whole world deal with the issue of police misconduct." The service at a church in California's capital city came a day after White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders told reporters the shooting was a local matter. Sharpton criticized that comment and praised protesters who have blocked traffic in the city, saying they were nonviolent. A White House representative could not be reached for comment on Sharpton's criticism. Stephen Clark was gunned down on the night of March 18th in his grandparents' backyard by police responding to a report that someone was breaking windows. Police said the officers who shot at Clark 20 times feared he was holding a firearm, but he was later found to have been holding a white cell phone. Tim Davis, president of the Sacramento Police Officers Association, did not return calls on Thursday. Davis, in a statement earlier in the week, said the two officers who opened fire believed Clark had a firearm and were legally justified under the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra had said state investigators will oversee the investigation and review the police department's procedures and practices. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am Iron Man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as Dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network. The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. 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 You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. On the Call to Freedom.
All right, that's right. It's time for the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom, here on LRN.FM. Are you new to the crypto game? Do you not want to have to spend your whole day reading candle graphs? Do you not even know what a candle graph is? Well, you know what? Let me introduce you to our sponsor, Helium.com. It's a savings accelerator, and it's powered by Uphold.com. And they've created a bot where it watches the value of regular old fiats and cryptocurrencies simultaneously. Then it moves your money when the timing is just right. You just fill up your account using a bank card or your own crypto wallet. Then you just set it and forget it. It's like the crock pot of cryptocurrency. Helium lets your money move you. So go on over to helium.com. That's HELEUM.com/CTF. Get a great deal as a thank you for being a Call to Freedom listener. Now, it is Crypto Hour, and usually on Crypto Hour we have everything from the funny to the angering to the scary to the interesting. I've got a little bit of everything in this first story. It says here, 2 Turkish imams have been fired for possessing Bitcoin investments, according to local media reports. Turkey's religious authorities have determined that Bitcoin is, quote, not compatible with Islam as of November of 2017. It's been reported that 2 religious officials in Zonguldak, Turkey, have been removed from office by Turkey's Presidency of Religious Affairs. Mesut K, who'd held a position at a mosque in Zonguldak's city center, and Satılmış B, who worked in a surrounding village, were removed following an investigation by the Presidency of Religious Affairs into the allegation that both men were investing in Bitcoin. Both men have appealed the determinations. Now, before we go any further, let's just unpack what we've got so far. In Turkey, you have to have a government. All the imams work for the state. There you go. If you have my job, if you're a khatib or an imam, you and your message are completely controlled by the state. So
this is more of a government affair than a religious one, it sounds like.
Yes.
This is really the Turkish government saying, we don't want you people doing this.
Well, because they're all like the Turkish government loves being a part of the EU, and they'll do whatever it takes to please the bankers in the European
trying
Union.
to be. Have they been admitted yet, or are they still like trying to kiss up enough to get admitted?
They're begging still, and that's what they want. That's the end game, is to please the international monetary folks enough that they give Turkey a pass to get in on all the good stuff that comes along with being in the EU.
So they're still under the delusion that the reason they're not in the EU has to do with economics and not the fact that Europe is racist.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, that's their problem right there.
Right.
I mean, if they could just wake up to the fact that, no, your economic system is not the reason you're not in the EU yet. It's because you're brown. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. The Europeans are not.
Oh, God. According to a rough translation, Mesut has pled only to have made investments into, quote, blockchain, stating, I do not have a close relationship with Bitcoin. I've not invested a penny. And I do not have a connection. I have an investment in blockchain, but I have never invested in Bitcoin. It's a legitimate investment. Mesut also indicated that this was not the first investigation of its kind into his investments, adding that in 2016 an investigation was launched on the grounds that necessary jurisdictions had been opened when the case was closed, and an investigation was launched again in 2017. Justice will make its decision. By contrast, Satılmış pled innocence, claiming not to even know what Bitcoin is. Satılmış's statements appear to claim that his wife's jewelry business had recently been victim of some sort of scam. My wife went to this place by selling the jewelry items under the influence of her father-in-law and getting the rental income in this company, but this company went down without getting any rental income. I'm also a victim here. They gave me the air of directing my friends to this company, but my friends who entered this company without being under the influence, I wish they would have just put the original. Oh, well, no, it's not in Arabic. It's in Turkish. I wish they would, because this translation is
It definitely sounds like somebody trying to badly translate a language that they don't
Google
speak.
Translate, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So he says he doesn't know anything about it at all. So
I'll tell you what, if you want to represent to the Western world that you are desperate to join their economic union, nothing says that like, I don't even know what this 8-year-old emergent technology is that's taking the world by storm. You'd be better off just saying, yeah, I know what it is, and I don't like what the first guy said. You know, it's fine. I just don't have any.
Right?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. And again, we come back to The Turkish state, that's who this is. They're like, oh, these are government officials. Let's just call them what they are. And there's a famous saying of Muhammad. It's that the greatest of scholars, the worst of scholars sits at the door of the king, and the greatest of kings sits at the door of the scholar. Basically meaning that if you're a scholar and you suck, then the government will be happy to hire you. But
very true.
Yeah. I mean, when I lived in Tennessee, when I was in what they call state custody. I was in a foster home. And I had the state insurance. And the doctors that you took for the state insurance were the ones that were one malpractice suit from losing their license. And those are the doctors that were employed by the state of Tennessee. The ones that, that's basically what it is. They take the state funding from the state insurance, and because of that, they get to, I guess, not lose their medical license when they probably should. So anyway, I'll be back with a little more crypto news when on the other side of the break here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Laid my proposition down, laid it on the line. I won't slave for beggars' pay, likewise gold and jewels. But I would slave to learn the way, sink your ship of fools, ship of fools, on a cool sea, ship of fools, sail away from me. It was later when I first believed you. Now I cannot share your laughter, ship of
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same.
Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the call to freedom on LRN.fm. أنتم تستمعون إلى The Crypto Hour، يقدم إليكم برعاية Helium.com على برنامج نداء للحرية على LRN.fm.
If you will tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and you should come up here and have a visit. You have some car trouble while you're on the road? Fine. You can go get your car fixed in Dash or Bitcoin Cash. You hungry? Well, what are you in the mood for? You want pizza? You want tacos? You want barbecue? You want Pakistani food? Well, what are you in the mood for? Because you can get it here in crypto as well. All kinds of brick and mortar businesses. You need a new secured computer built from scratch for just about any coin you could think of. You can do it right here in New Hampshire. So come up here and visit. There's a good opportunity for you to do so. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 14th through June 18th for Fork Fest 2018 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Fork Fest is a fork of other camping parties in the woods. You're invited to come and create whatever experience you'd like to see others have. Fork Fest is totally decentralized. That means that nobody's in charge, so everyone's in charge. It's up to you to create what happens. Or just relax, hang out, go camping with some good liberty-loving friends in the woods. Forkfest.party is where you can learn more, join the forum, or the Telegram chat group. Again, that's forkfest.party. Come on out, enjoy our party in the woods. Most of our LRN folks are going to be there. You're going to have people from Free Talk Live, a number of hosts from Call to Freedom. You're going to have hosts from other shows there as well. So come out. There might be speeches. There might be music. There might be, who knows. It's going to be a good time, though. 5 days, Rogers Campground. All you got to do is pay for your place to sleep at night. There's not even any tickets. It's completely decentralized. So come on out and see us for ForkFest at forkfest.party. Now, I love stories like these where I read them and I just want to laugh. It's a beautiful day when you hear things like this. Says here, this story is coming from news.bitcoin.com. Says, the United States Futures and Commodity Trade Commission's Christopher Giancarlo's request for an increase of 12% in the regulator's budget has been answered with $1 million budget cut.
Ha! No, you should have finished out that one. How horrifying that you'd have to deal with budget cuts as you're trying to cut into other people's livelihoods.
Well, it's reported that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission has received a $1 million cut to its approximately $250 million budget.
Oh, how horrible for them.
The agency appears to have taken significant offense to the funding cut, as the CFTC had originally requested a 12% increase in which it hoped to secure $281.5 million in financial resources. Congress's decision to roll back the regulator's funding has been taken as a great offense by the institution. Erica Elliott Richardson, spokeswoman for the agency, stated that the institution's chairman, Christopher Giancarlo, quote, takes this budget decrease incredibly personally and is currently meeting with our finance team to figure out a path forward for the agency. You know, because $1 million
What
cut.
are they going to do with the other two? What are they going to do with that $249 million other dollars?
They cut $1 million out of a $250 million budget. What are we going to do? We're going to have to shut the doors.
It's 0.4%, Will.
We're going to have to switch to one-ply toilet paper.
They might have to start using ordinary paper instead of the fancy $20 a box paper when they send letters.
Oh, my God. No, you will not be drinking Cavassier and Hennessy at this year's Christmas party. CFTC, you will be drinking E&J like normal folks.
Or worse, Christian Brothers.
Oh, my God. I just can't believe it. He's like, we take this very, very personally, and we're just not sure how we're going to figure out the path forward for this agency.
It wouldn't even be news if they weren't so darn melodramatic.
We are absolutely astounded by this decrease in the CFTC's budget. Oh, my God, man.
We don't even have to write jokes about this.
For real, you'd think it was like an 85%. Like, you'd think that the entire SEC budget of $1.7 billion had been cut to $250 million. You know, like, you would think that that's what had actually happened at this point, the way that they're reacting.
Where's the crying baby noise when we need it?
Says,
I guess we got to save that one for the last hour because there's going to be a lot of it there.
Oh, yeah. Despite the reduction in the CFTC's funding, the United States Congress had granted the SEC a budget of $1.7 billion, roughly 3% more than was requested by the agency.
Wait, it's one of those phantom budget cuts where they didn't actually cut anything. They just didn't increase it by quite as much as they wanted, but they still increased it. And this guy's so melodramatic about it.
Well, no, what happened was they gave the SEC a bigger budget, but they didn't allot the part of it with the increase that he wanted. Basically, everybody else got an increase in their budget, and I didn't.
Now I actually, and here's the thing, the main SEC could still increase their budget if they found value in it. So all they really have to do now is go and justify their own existence to their own bosses.
Yeah, I know. The SEC is very happy to give you more money out of their heightened budget, so much as you show that what you do actually requires a need in the raise of your particular budget. But since
that's not fair.
You haven't asserted through, doing things that are useful that you are useful, you don't get more money.
But those other useless people over there got more money,
Right.
and all they do is drop bombs on brown people. That was a military funding joke.
They then immediately, of course, go on to fearmonger about the wild, wild west nature of cryptocurrencies and the need to up their
As our
budget.
Wild Wild West music plays.
Right? And the need to up their budget so that they can keep up with the changes in the market. All right, we'll be back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom.
تستمتعون إلى The Crypto Hour على برنامج نداء للحرية.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the Call to Freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you kill the faucet, be colorified to get some free coins. This is the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And we love bringing you good crypto news like, well, those dirty, dirty people at the regulators' offices not getting more money in order to come after your good, hard-earned cryptos. But we've also got another story here that might also make you feel a little happier if you're a crypto business owner. Russian, Chinese, and Korean associations are suing the internet giants over banning crypto ads. Cryptocurrency and blockchain associations from Russia, China, and South Korea plan to file a class action lawsuit against internet corporations that are banning crypto ads. The lawsuit will challenge restrictions imposed by Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Yandex, among others. An agreement to take the matter to court in the U.S. has been reached at a crypto conference in Moscow. The lawsuit will be filed in a U.S. jurisdiction in May by the newly founded Eurasian Blockchain Association, representatives of the Russian Cryptocurrency and Blockchain Association, Korean Venture Business Association, and the Chinese Association of Crypto Investors have signed the agreement to create the EBA during the Blockchain RF 2018 Congress in Moscow. A special crypto fund will be created to finance the legal action, which can be supported through donations.
So they're going to try to pay their lawyers in crypto. It sounds like.
The most popular social network, Facebook, and the largest global search engine, Google, banned crypto ads in January and March, respectively. Russian media have reported about similar decisions by the biggest search engine in the country, Yandex. The company has not officially confirmed the measure. Reports that Twitter is going to also impose restrictions surfaced about 10 days ago. According to Reuters, the microblogging platform has confirmed the policy change, which will take effect on Tuesday, March 27th. The ban will cover advertising of initial coin offerings and token sales. Twitter told the agency this Monday. It's been reported that another social media platform, Snapchat, has also banned advertisements of ICOs.
Although if you're advertising your ICO on Snapchat, you probably should be banned.
For real, yo. If you're advertising your ICO on Snapchat, I don't want to buy it. The simultaneous refusal to advertise cryptocurrencies could testify that there was a cartel collusion, said RACIB's president Yuri Propechkin, quoted by TASS and Interfax. Quote, "We think these four companies are using their monopoly power and have colluded to manipulate the market." He added, Propechkin pointed out that the bans led to significant market drops in the last 3 months.
Yes, they really have.
The matter will be taken to a U.S.-based court, the official said. Lawyers will have the final say about the jurisdiction where the lawsuit will be filed. You know, every state has different laws. Some states, like Wyoming, for example, have been fair towards cryptocurrencies.
It's not going to matter because it's not going to be in state court anyway. For two reasons. First of all, because of the parties involved. The original jurisdiction's almost certainly going to be federal. But second, because what they're describing is they're alleging anti-competitive behavior, which is going to fall under federal antitrust laws.
Right?
Yep. Foreign and international commerce goes, to the federal courts, but against the United States companies, they're going to be going under Lanham Act and other antitrust allegations. They're basically alleging that the social media networks in particular, as well as Google, colluded together to do anti-competitive things against the cryptocurrency industry. I'm not an antitrust expert, but at the very least, I think they'll have enough to get into court. Now, finding a lawyer who's going to take the case is going to be the issue. First of all, because it mentioned above that they are raising their legal fund in cryptos. Mm-hmm. Now, I know there are lawyers who are on the cutting edge trying to accept cryptos to expand their client base, but you're talking about a hefty piece of litigation. So unless you've got a firm that's willing to, and you'd have to have a really,
you make the donations in crypto and then convert it into cash and pay the lawyer in cash.
Yeah, if you're a regular business, but we're talking about lawyers here. And our ethics when it comes to how we can get paid for in-kind, like in ways other than cash, are arcane as all get out. So that's like my first question. You'd have to have a really interesting fee agreement to even get away with that. Second, your damages, they're right about the market being adversely affected. But the question is, one, how much of the market drop can be said to have directly impacted the cryptocurrencies themselves? And second, which crypto developers are actually involved in these consortiums? Because if you don't have some of the big ones, like a Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like a Ripple, like a Monero, if you don't have them involved in the suit, then you're talking about a smaller pool of damages to get yourself into court, and therefore a smaller incentive for the lawyers to take the case. So already I can see some obstacles here, but I do see, because they're talking about doing this under U.S. law, there's certainly a path forward. Now, what they would want out of the suit, of course, would not be money so much. They would want to use the suit as leverage to try to get these restrictions lifted or reformed in a way that would allow cryptos to go back to advertising on these social media platforms with some restrictions to meet the platform's actual concerns about fraud and such. But they, when I hear someone say right before April, we're going to file a lawsuit in May, I laugh. Assuming I have the energy to laugh, which I don't right now. But I laugh because it's going to take longer than that for a lawyer, just to find a lawyer. It's going to take months for a lawyer to actually review the case. And before they ever actually go to court, they're going to send some letters back and forth. So we may see something come out of this. I would say, first of all, it's not super likely to be a lawsuit. I think that this is the kind of thing where they would find a middle ground in court. Second, the success of any kind of talks to avoid a lawsuit is going to depend on whether the big players get on board or whether they take unilateral action. And if I were counseling someone like a Bitcoin or Ethereum in particular about whether to join this consortium or whether to go it alone in trying to get special exemptions for ourselves, I would go it alone. Because it's going to be, it's a lot easier for you as a single currency to prove you're legit. And it's a lot more advantageous for you as a single currency to have rules that are just for yourself and not have to be saddled with the rules that also apply to some of the newer, possibly even sketchier coins, and especially coins coming out of markets like Russia and the Koreas, where there's a lot of suspicion just because of country of origin. And that's as much as I was able to talk without getting a drink of water. Sorry, Will.
That's all right. So basically here it says that you've got 2 laws that we're going to be getting into when we get back here that have been put up in Russia. The argument is basically that the Russian economy is going to lose about $1.5 billion a year because of the current ICO laws. And that, governments like taxes. It's just like the marijuana thing. Coax the government into doing what you want by dangling the carrot of money in front of them.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT NoGov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Researchers at Princeton University's Department of Sociology have made a major leap in our understanding of social interaction.
We conducted trials in 90 supermarkets across the country and found that essentially 100% of people disapproved of having a stranger hit them across the face and then expose their genitalia right in the middle of the supermarket, which we found very interesting.
Researchers observed similar reactions when the subject hurled shopping carts toward unsuspecting shoppers, stood in the deli section rubbing cold cuts against his chest, or got right near cashier's ears and began loudly singing Yankee Doodle.
In this particular trial, we had our subject, Kevin, take off his shirt, tape a banana to his forehead, and charge at various shoppers like he was a rhino. Within 20 minutes, store owners called the police and he was arrested, allowing us to come to the conclusion that this type of behavior is still considered at least somewhat taboo.
This is the Onion News Network.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है helium.com।
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It's Crypto Hour here. Final
That is some primo bumper music right there.
Loving it. Loving it.
Yeah.
So a recurring theme around here on the Crypto Hour is, just the oversaturation that's been going on in the market over the course of the last, 6 months to a year. We're not the only ones who have taken note of it. CryptocurrencyCheck.org was created partly because of it, with things like Bitcoin Platinum and Bitcoin Diamond and Binance going around. There was a need for someone to start trying to figure out how to make heads or tails of all this crap. Well, the word is now the crypto economy is drowning in tokens. The number of different tokens in existence is debatable, with estimates ranging from a couple of thousand to over 80,000. All that can be agreed upon is that there are a lot, and that the number is mushrooming with every passing month. CoinMarketCap lists over 1,500 coins and tokens, and there's another 12,000 that have launched on the Waves platform, plus more than 68,000 tokens that exist on the Ethereum platform. Most of these latter tokens haven't launched, but their mere creation via smart contract is enough to sow confusion. There are 20 ERC20 variants of the Petro alone. Wow. On Wednesday, Suppoman, a YouTuber with over 140,000 subscribers, shilled Matrix Network, prompting many of his followers to rush off and buy the token. Unfortunately, several of them bought the wrong coin and mistakenly snapped up Matrix, MTX, spelled MATRYX, instead of MATRIX. As a result, MTX, which had a market cap of 15 million, soared by 300% before rapidly correcting once investors had realized their error. Suppoman shills Matrix and his ever so bright viewers pumped Matrix instead, laughed Crypto Jack, another popular YouTuber, reading out comments from his Telegram channel. I bought 50,000 Matrix with a Y yesterday, and it dropped 100% today, complained someone in the Matrix Telegram group. This wasn't the first case of a mistaken token identity, and it surely won't be the last.
Did you guys, while I was off the air, ever get around to talking about Bitcoin with two eyes? The one that I actually heard advertised on
we haven't gotten
on satellite radio.
Yet. I have not gotten to that yet.
Yeah, well, it's an example of exactly what you're talking about. I mean, this was one that was actually endorsed by Steven Seagal.
Oh yeah, and then he got in big trouble like 2 days later.
They got in enormous trouble because it was very obviously just trying to scam people into, and they referred to themselves as the next evolution of Bitcoin on their radio ads on satellite radio. But it would be easy for someone who was new to the crypto space to fall for that because A, it looks just like the word Bitcoin, and B, it's billing itself as Bitcoin with two eyes.
I saw this actually happen. This point that the author makes here myself. The most confusing tokens of all aren't those with similar names, but those with identical tickers. When Bitcoin Cash launched, some exchanges listed it as BCC, but others went with BCH because BitConnect already traded under BCC. In the end, BCH stuck, unlike BitConnect, which didn't stick around for much longer after that.
Womp womp. We've talked about BitConnect ad nauseum on here, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. As Vitalik Buterin pointed out, the number of available cryptocurrency nodes is limited to just over 17,000. For ICOs trying to find an unclaimed abbreviation, this presents a problem. Their options are either to pick a long but unique name such as Ethors, which is horse, or hope that their project will dwarf the existing coin with the same abbreviation. CoinMarketCap lists Bitcoin Lightning as BLT, for instance, alongside the better-known Bloom, also listed as BLT. Coins which were listed within 10 days of each other in January. No, nothing confusing about that at all. Just two coins within 10 days with the exact same ticker. Brilliant.
I'm sure if Aria was here, she would make some joke about putting sandwiches on the blockchain.
Right.
BLT.
In some respects, the race for the coveted three-letter abbreviation is much like the race for domain names during the .com boom. Many of the several thousand tokens in existence won't survive, and a good few have fallen by the wayside already. They remain, though, on sites such as CoinMarketCap as a reminder of the abbreviation they once claimed. Until these tokens are officially declared dead and delisted, they will continue to cause confusion. I wonder how much, if are we causing confusion on CoinMarketCap?
Are we?
Yeah.
I
no,
think
there
if
is no coin with wah.
Oh, that, yeah.
Sue on CoinMarketCap at the very least. So we're at least not confusing people there. But go ahead.
I assume that some brilliant attorney who is not myself, I mean, I am a brilliant attorney, but another brilliant attorney will try to get the Sue symbol for the first ever lawyer-focused cryptocurrency before too long. So we might lose that one, but I think we might not get beat to the drama coin ticker. But they mentioned the .com boom. What happened on the back end of the .com boom and still happens now is cyber squatting, which is a domain name will lapse either because it went out of business or just because the owner of the domain forgets to renew it or something, and someone will snatch it up and try to extort money from them to get from the legitimate agency to get, or not agency, the legitimate owner to get the name back. Is that where we're headed next with cryptocurrency stock or ticker symbols? Like if Bitcoin Gold goes by the wayside, is some consortium going to squat on BTG and try to resell it to the next scam coin to get their share of the scam?
Ooh, very good. Very good question.
Yeah.
Crypto coin ticker squatting. Well, it doesn't seem like it really works that way in the crypto industry.
Not yet.
A coin will straight up just take your... Well, it couldn't work that way with web addresses. You couldn't have the exact same web address. It wouldn't work.
Oh, but you could with the ticker symbol.
You can with ticker symbols. So basically it becomes a bloodbath of, well, whoever it is that's got the most weight and power behind them has the ability to force their way into the spot. Like BCH, being Bitcoin Cash, BitConnect, loses BCC, but BCH stuck for Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
So,
if you're listening, Pepper was yesterday saying in the chat he had some questions about brand new coins. This is yet another point of caution against getting into anything too brand new in the crypto space right now and probably for the foreseeable future.
All right. Well, when we get back here on the Call to Freedom, Crypto Hour is over, but we have everybody's favorite part of the show, everybody's favorite segment. People wait all week long. We'll be right back with it in just a little while here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. So don't you go anywhere.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, March 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.36 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,326 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,793. Antiwar.com reports, speaking Thursday at a rally, President Trump said that the U.S. is likely to pull troops out of Syria very soon, saying they'll let the other people take care of it now. The U.S. officially has around 2,000 troops in Syria. Trump told the rally that they were knocking the hell out of the Islamic State and that the last of the Islamic State territory is soon to be recovered. His presentation of this as the end of the U.S. war in Syria is not in keeping with what other administration officials say, however. The Pentagon has been talking up new military goals in Syria for months on end, with Defense Secretary James Mattis saying troops would stay in Syria to prevent the creation of the Islamic State 2.0. The State Department pled ignorance to Trump's comments, saying that they were unaware of any planned withdrawals from Syria. That's unsurprising, however, as President Trump has often made off-the-cuff statements of policy without giving other officials a heads up. Trump's position on a pullout is in keeping with his own view of Syria as a very narrow anti-the Islamic State war, but a lot of other officials have staked out their own position, essentially mirroring the U.S. plan for permanent deployment in Iraq. Iraq and Syria are both parts of the same the Islamic State war, after all, but has a serious distinction. Iraq has welcomed U.S. troops in their country, at least for now, while Syria never authorized a U.S. deployment. Syria continues to declare U.S. forces in their country as unwelcome, and it would be very difficult for the U.S. to maintain an open-ended military presence there. While U.S. troops in Syria are not currently involved in a lot of combat, their withdrawal would extricate them from a tense situation with Turkey. Turkey intends to invade certain Kurdish regions where U.S. troops are currently embedded and seems set to do so whether the U.S. remains or not. The suggestion of a pullout may encourage Turkey to be patient for a time on that matter. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Black Lives Matter activists protested again in Sacramento on Thursday over the shooting by police of an unarmed man, calling for criminal charges against the officers after an emotional funeral service for the 22-year-old father of two. At least 60 protesters gathered outside the Sacramento County District Attorney's office holding signs such as "Prosecute" and "Justice for Stephen Clark." Clark's death was the most recent in a string of fatal shootings by police that have triggered protests across the United States and renewed a national debate about bias in the United States criminal justice system. At the funeral service, veteran civil rights leader Reverend Al Sharpton addressed a congregation of hundreds. Sharpton said, "We're going to make President Donald Trump and the whole world deal with the issue of police misconduct." The service at a church in California's capital city came a day after White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders told reporters the shooting was a local matter. Sharpton criticized that comment and praised protesters who have blocked traffic in the city, saying they were nonviolent. A White House representative could not be reached for comment on Sharpton's criticism. Stephen Clark was gunned down on the night of March 18th in his grandparents' backyard by police responding to a report that someone was breaking windows. Police said the officers who shot at Clark 20 times feared he was holding a firearm, but he was later found to have been holding a white cell phone. Tim Davis, president of the Sacramento Police Officers Association, did not return calls on Thursday. Davis, in a statement earlier in the week, said the two officers who opened fire believed Clark had a firearm and were legally justified under the law. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra had said state investigators will oversee the investigation and review the police department's procedures and practices. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Sea anemones are the most disgusting of all tidal creatures. Their thick tentacle arms are engorged with the collected urine that makes up much of tide pools. Whale urine, fish urine, otter urine, crab urine, all sucked up by the moon and deposited in these natural outhouses. Clownfish share a symbiotic relationship with sea anemones. The clownfish cleans the sea anemone. In exchange, the anemone sprays urine on the face of the clownfish. It's one fetishistic delight. Contrary to popular belief, sea urchins are not in fact animals. Indeed, they are not alive at all. They are simply the clumped-together leavings of the ocean's denizens.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
Off the rails, you know it's time to raise ourselves. It's freedom like you never knew.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM for the final hour of this Friday afternoon broadcast. On your drive home, for your best drive home, Liberty Radio here. It's the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Are you worried about government looking in on your personal business online? Well, you know, securing your internet communication against the government has become almost impossible. Governments can see everything that you do online, and they can block services to stop you from communicating altogether. enter CryptVisor, the unstoppable instant communication platform. CryptVisor is powered by the blockchain and fully decentralized. We have no central servers or governments to block or shut down. CryptVisor neither asks for nor stores your personal information, and even if government were to ask them for it, well, they simply don't have it. Find out how you can get CryptVisor for free and learn about premium options like the CVPay cryptocurrency wallet and other advanced security features. Check out CryptVisor at cryptvisor.network. Again, that's cryptvisor.network. So it is, again, another Friday afternoon here in the Vertcoin studio, and everybody knows what Friday afternoons mean. It means it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show.
Yes!
Oh yes, you know what that music means. It is time for the Libertarian Drama of the Week. Now, one of these days, we're actually going to get somebody who's dumb enough to sponsor this segment, and it'll be the Libertarian Drama of the Week, brought to you by somebody dumb enough to sponsor this segment.
Dumb enough? It's our most popular segment. As long as you're okay with being associated with Libertarian Drama, it's a gold pit.
Exactly. It may be our most popular segment, but you would have to associate yourself with Libertarian Drama in order to be the segment sponsor. So I don't know of anybody who wants to do that particularly.
What about the LNC? I mean, it's like the convention itself should sponsor this. That's how they're selling their tickets. Everybody wants to show up to see how the things we talk about on our show play out in real life as applied to a major national political party. I mean, what could be better? But this one, oh boy, I've been looking forward to this one ever since I read it.
So, this is from Archive. Oh, so he took this down.
I think he did. It was the site that I got it from posted straight to the Archive, which made it seem as though he had put this up and then thought better of it. Which, thinking better of things is not a thing that Libertarian Drama people named Chris usually do, but we'll see. I'll go see if it's still up, but in the meantime, proceed, please.
Right? Please proceed. So what do? Do I start with this tweet? It says, owing to my airing of a theory in a previous blog post, I've been defamed by another forum by Weave of the Daily Stormer. Below's a screen cap of that forum post. Find my commentary beneath it. At Ricky Vaughn, the establishment had put everything on TWP to divide the movement. What's TWP? Does anybody know? The white people?
The Traditional Workers' Party. Oh. The one that collapsed because of an affair between one of the members and the wife of the other member, who also happened to be the affair haver's stepmom.
The her Uncle Grandpa.
Pretty much. I don't know how that didn't make Libertarian Drama because we don't even pretend the Traditionalist Worker Party is libertarian. No. But let's proceed. It gets better.
Okay, so the establishment had put everything on the Traditionalist Worker Party to divide the movement, and they broke down when they couldn't get it done. Parrott.
There we go.
Behaved erratically as a public embarrassment. Talked to the police, came up with some mythos about how it helped get the police on his side. We saw how well that worked in Charlottesville and MSU, I'm sure. Vincent Raitt from Adamwaffen runs a literally satanic cat sacrifice cult and has stated publicly on Radio Werewolf that he's willing to talk to federal law enforcement, mysteriously allowed to use Discord endlessly despite multiple Antifa leaks. Cantwell behaves like he is now, has been run out of other political movements for being an embarrassment. Also has some mythos about how his endless discussions with law enforcement are for the greater good. He's taking down Antifa, he swears. Cantwell defends both Adam Woffen and Parrott, as well as Eli Mosley. Christopher Cantwell is an admitted government informant. These things are not unrelated. This is how America is irredeemable. I'm going to lead a revolutionary national socialist street fighting movement to create a peasant revolt, a reconciliation position of being an informant.
Okay, so in case anybody missed the key here, this tweet from Weave, W-E-E-V.
At Stormfront.
At the Daily Stormer, which is, related to Stormfront. Another white nationalist organization is accusing Christopher Cantwell, our favorite crying anti-Antifa whatever, of being a federal informer. Now, this tweet was posted by Cantwell, and what Will is about to read from is Cantwell's response to the allegation that he is turned federal informer.
Well, a lot of it's stuff that nobody really cares about. He's like, oh, you're sexual degeneracy and disloyalty, blah, 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 blah. Just nonsense that nobody cares about. But getting on to the part that actually matters, it says, as for speaking to the FBI, I have hinted at this publicly, but I disclosed those details to Weave in confidence. His plastering our private conversation on a forum should speak to his reputation. We're being instructed to behave like criminals by a Jew in a foreign country after we were assaulted by terrorists in our own.
Wow.
There's ample evidence that the Reds
right,
started and perpetuated the violence in Charlottesville, lied in court to frame me, and had the cooperation of local authorities in this criminal behavior. The feds are only... The feds are our only hope for lawful remedy, and I intend to cooperate fully with any effort to bring these criminals to justice.
Read that again. Read that last sentence again. It's amazing.
The feds are our only hope for lawful remedy, and I intend to cooperate fully with any effort to bring these criminals to justice.
The feds are our only hope for lawful remedy.
Didn't he used to be an anarchist at one point in time?
Yes! I think he still thinks he is, but he's saying that we've got to rely on the feds because reasons.
Let's see.
My attorney has already spoken with the FBI on my behalf, and we are soon to meet. Hey, if he was listening to our show earlier, we actually talked about somebody who tried to turn informant with the FBI because her husband was being investigated for the Pulse nightclub shooting, and she ended up on trial herself. You don't talk to the feds. That's like something you learn in every mainstream class on dealing with life. And the anarchist is saying we have to talk to the feds because of the Jews.
Oh my God, that's the best line ever. Darth Vader, you're our only hope. Oh my God. Do you want to get involved in this amusing conversation? Give us a call, 603-283-6160. We'll be back on the other side with more of the Libertarian Drama of the Week. And we get right back.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It is Friday afternoon, so that means, of course, it is our Libertarian Drama of the Week, the most popular segment of the show this Friday afternoon. We've got a story here it's one of those that just kind of keeps on giving, every few weeks, every month or so, there's another thing that pops out. Now this is, I guess it was a libertarian fall from, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really believe that there was a point of grace to fall from. Making a fool of himself on the Colbert Report is really, I would say, the height. And even then, it was. It didn't look like they had to try very hard to make him look ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, when
I
crying
will pull out
Nazi,
my gun and shoot at this box while y'all are here.
I mean, when crying Nazi is the apex of your career, I mean, that's pretty bad. That's like left shark level celebrity. right there.
Well, it would seem that he's continued to his 15 minutes of fame continues to be extended little at a time. This time, the New York Daily News covering his story. It starts off, two wrongs don't make a right.
That's priceless.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Christopher Cantwell, the infamous crying Nazi, facing felony charges for, quote, inciting violence at last year's deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, wants to embark on a new career. FBI agent, or
Aliki boom boom wow.
Aliki boom boom wow, right. Cantwell, who's currently awaiting trial, still waiting and hosting, is still writing and hosting a white nationalist radio show and maintaining a blog called The Radical Agenda. How the hell do you, like, I've been in jail before. How do you host a radio show from jail?
You don't.
That's really expensive.
He's out on bond because he's got lots of money.
I mean, he's not out on bond.
He's well, then I don't know.
He's out on bond. Oh, well.
Yeah. I mean, how else would he be out there?
Yeah, but he was hosting the show from jail for a while, I thought. Oh, wait, hold on. We got somebody that is a little more knowledge of what's going on here.
From what I heard, when he was in jail hosting the radio show, he had somebody recording telephone calls and then releasing those as the podcast.
Oh my God, that's expensive.
That's almost as expensive as Bond would be by the time you do 4 or 5 episodes, because they're charging you like $2 a minute.
Right, but when he was still in, it was because they did not have Bond set for him because they considered him a flight risk. Because he's not from Virginia.
Yeah.
He's still
Where's he gonna go?
He still lives in New Hampshire.
It'd be like calling who is it? Name somebody really famous, like a flight risk.
I can tell you right now that they didn't. No, that wouldn't fly for all that long in Virginia. He probably just got impatient to do his show because he wouldn't be in for more than 30 days if that was their rationale in Virginia.
Says
they just set the bond really high. But go ahead, Will.
As March is coming to a close, Cantwell's popularity among his far-right brethren seems to be tanking, thanks to a post in which he claims to become an FBI rat. In a blog post entitled, Why I'm Talking to the Feds, Cantwell claims the move is a way to take revenge on anti-fascist groups who'd, quote, given license to anti-fascist groups who, quote, given license to masked thugs and terrorists to wage war on the streets of Charlottesville during the riots that claimed the life of a counter-protester, Heather Heyer. James Field, 20-year-old charged with her murder, was affiliated with nobody that's in the story. Cantwell did not respond to requests for comment on his new line of work. So basically, the story is he's talking to the feds, but it's only so that he can get back at Antifa, and he's cooperating so that he can make sure the Antifa bad guys end up in prison instead of him. Basically, it seems to be the gist of it.
Well, let me tell you something. If the FBI had any reason to talk to him now, before, they don't now that he's outed himself. Because the one thing that makes you completely useless as an FBI informant is if the people you're informing on know you're informing.
For real.
Although he seems to acknowledge that. I'm in the Think Progress article now where they quote some of his posts. Where and this is what Cantwell said. He says, quote, if the FBI searched every electronic device I have ever owned and pumped me full of top secret truth drugs, I literally couldn't give them a single criminal. I left out a word there because we're on radio. Cantwell explained, there is absolutely no chance I could snitch on our guys even if I wanted to. Then why are you talking to them?
Why would you say that either as well?
Yeah. If you were hoping to get a plea deal, well, so much for that.
What's the thing, where like, methinks he doth protest too much?
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah, like
Shakespeare.
The squeaky wheel, kind of the squeaky wheel theory.
Yeah,
the guilty dog barks first.
Sometimes the squeaky wheel doesn't get the grease. Sometimes
it gets
replaced. Yes. So it says that the blog We Hunted the Mammoth gathered a collection of responses to this news, including ones calling Cantwell human garbage.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of par for the course for whole conversation, though.
Oh, wow. And he's saying that he's wanting to inform so that they can get at the Antifa, because that's who was responsible for violence in Charlottesville, except the problem is that the guy who killed somebody in Charlottesville, James Alex Fields, was a member of Vanguard America, which is an alt-right group, which was part of the Unite the Right rally, which is what Cantwell is part of. You know, I need to check on this during the break. I believe it was Cantwell that actually stalked one of my female friends while she was in college in Charlottesville. Because I remember there was one of the people in high up in the Unite the Right rally that she was especially upset about because she thought that he had outstanding warrants where she had complained about him stalking her, like not that long ago, while he was in college. And to be perfectly fair, Cantwell does strike me as the type that she would have unfortunately attracted in her younger days. So I'll look into that and see if there's yet another branch to this libertarian drama. But Cantwell turned in FOMA. Aliki boom boom. Wow.
All right. Well, when we get back here, there's a study that's come out. It turns out, are you smart about your politics? Do you think about your positions? You're probably a libertarian.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live.
I wish you would have answered the question as to what's the age range. I mean, if two 10-year-old boys are playing doctor with each other, and he was specific that he said it was okay for a boy and a girl to play doctor, which did happen to me when I was that age, but I was maybe 2.5, 3 years older than that girl. Am I a molester? She was the one trying to take my pants off. Should she go to jail?
You know, people like Lou, they get all upset over things like this when they're not even apprised of the facts. And you try to tell them the facts, and since it doesn't fit with their worldview, it doesn't fit with their core belief system, it can't be possibly true that I could have possibly have known what I was doing at that
Children
age.
who are engaged in sex with somebody who's older are being manipulated. That's one of them. And, sometimes sometimes that's true.
Absolutely. There's no doubt.
And sometimes it's not.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it is another beautiful day here. We've been talking about, all things libertarian drama. This week, those things happen to be, Chris Cantwell. So, moving on from drama, though, we've got a story here from Bloomberg. It says, think you're smart about politics? Well, you might just be a libertarian. A study of voters' tendencies toward emotional or analytical decisions confirms some stereotypes. You might think being analytical is a good thing. We associate analysis with people who are smart, well-informed, and relatively dispassionate in their assessments. You might think that politics is an area where being analytical is especially useful. If you do, well, I've got news for you. Libertarians measure as being the most analytical political group. That's according to something called the Cognitive Reflection Test, which is designed to measure whether an individual will override his or her immediate emotional responses and give a question further considerations. If you aren't a libertarian, maybe you ought to try giving that philosophy another look. It's a relatively exclusive club replete with people who are politically engaged, able to handle abstract arguments, and capable of deeper reflection. Well, at least it was until 2010. What else can we learn from this new study and of political and analytical tendencies conducted by Rob Pennycook and David Rand of Yale University? Well, for the 2016 election, one group that measured as especially non-analytical were Democrats who crossed party lines and voted for Donald Trump. There's a stereotype of a less well-educated voter, perhaps both white and male, who reacts negatively and emotionally to Hillary Clinton, who decided to vote for Trump even if Trump's actual policies will not prove in his best interest. For all the dangers of stereotyping, the study's data are consistent with that picture. Both non-voters and independents do poorly on the analytic dimensions. There's a myth of a reasonable, rational, politically independent America sitting in the middle of the spectrum, weighing arguments carefully and seeing which candidate or party has the better ideas or platform. In reality, that group measured is as relatively impulsive and prone to less informed judgments. If you're a Democrat, You might take some cheer in the fact that Democrats measure as somewhat more analytical than Republicans, but if you take being analytic as a positive mark, you might feel at least a slight tug toward the libertarians.
This is actually a flip, isn't it? Because previous studies did consistently show that if you had a more analytical response, you were more likely to self-identify as Republican. So that's a pretty big change, and I think we could identify a potential reason why.
Right. Potential reason why, maybe. Just a little bit. Says, let's see here. At the very least, you might find it harder to attack or make fun of the Republicans for being intellectually backwards because you as a Democrat, liberal, no longer sit atop the totem pole of reason. Note that individuals who are conservative along economic dimensions measure as more analytical than those who are not. That is a slightly uncomfortable result for those on the left. The opposite is true for social conservatives, by the way. If you're socially conservative, your chances are you think less about that position than you react. Do these results combine with the presumption that being analytical is good mean you really ought to be a libertarian? Well, no, and I write this as someone with relatively strong libertarian leanings. First, any test has biases, and this test was conducted online, and as was earlier and broadly compatible work by other researchers. Maybe it's only the internet-savvy libertarians who have greater analytical skills. There might be some of the group of less rationalistic libertarians snorting up dirt and pounding their fist against the wall while cursing the state, too caught in the rage of the moment to take an online survey.
I think we just talked about one.
Right. I can assure you that I have met my share of not always so rational libertarians. In fact, you might expect that a niche view will have some especially smart, responsible people and some of the opposite. I don't just mean that as a description of libertarians. I mean the same to be true of socialists and Marxists as well. Second, being very analytical in some ways puts you out of touch with the American citizenry. Ain't that the truth? For better or worse, people have emotional and non-rational components that can be reduced or better managed, but never really go away. Extremely analytical leaders might be best for managing an organization of predominantly analytical people, but this is not a predominantly analytical nation. Ronald Reagan would be one example of a successful American leader who shared some, not all, libertarian leanings, but arguably
which ones?
His strengths were more intuitive and communicative than analytical. I haven't found, for instance, that the most analytical people are the most effective on television.
That's because television is not for analytical people. Come on, man. Although there is a little bit of wisdom to be gleaned from that when it comes to outreach for libertarians, and I talk about this sometimes, because when you're talking to people, you have to recognize that people have a non-rational component and that there is legitimacy to it. I mean, you don't have purely rational thoughts about your kids, your family, and their safety. You don't analyze that the same way that you analyze things like economics. In fact, your economic decisions are not always purely rational when it comes to things like your family, or when it comes to things like love and romance. And what the article is saying is that people who are overly analytical don't end up on the national stage a lot of times because they're overly analytical. You do have to recognize that not everybody thinks the way that you do, not everybody has the same priorities, and pure rationality is not necessarily more virtuous, because being more analytical might just lead you from being an economic conservative to being a Democrat. You never know. So don't be a supremacist about raw rationality, because that's where you get into trouble trying to bring people to your viewpoints. Recognize the legitimacy of people's emotions, and once you recognize that legitimacy, it's easier to get them to be analytical with you even when they're not so analytical with everybody else.
I even tried to make this point while I was running for office back in 2016. You know, that people want someone that they can... The average person doesn't follow titles anymore. It's just not the way things are done. People want someone who, when they speak, the person listening and hearing feels within them that person is telling them something they really mean, they really feel. And and I was saying that because we were offering two candidates who didn't really believe in the message, and it came through in their debate style and their ability to present the message. And unfortunately, you know, they went with the people who couldn't communicate. And my whole thing about, look, people have emotions, we should acknowledge them, was, no, people will just be happy that they're governors, and they'll completely ignore the fact that we are not trying to speak directly to them as a party.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Welcome here to this final segment of our Friday night live broadcast of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. So, well, guys, if you are a libertarian, chances are you think about your politics more than the average person. I guess that's something we really already knew, though.
We hope, anyway. Otherwise, why are you listening to this show?
For real, Well, I saw this thing, and I don't know why it's such a popular story, and everybody is writing about it. But this is from Nick Gillespie. Why does everybody care about the new Roseanne reboot? Like, why is it such a big... Like, everybody is writing about it. It's almost like humanizing Trump supporters is a horrible, horrible thing. And that seems to be what the Roseanne show, the new Roseanne show's doing, is it's humanizing Trump supporters.
It's almost like they didn't watch the original show. The whole point of the original show was to humanize people that are generally marginalized in the mainstream Hollywood, which is, you know, blue-collar Southerners.
Class, white, American, working class. Exactly.
Exactly.
Beverly Hillbillies is totally acceptable, but the Boondock Saints TV show will probably cause protests, that kind of thing. Well, it says here,
Boondock Saints have to do with it? Anyway, go ahead.
Show. Oh, Boondocks, not Boondock Saints. Because
I was about to say
there were people that got really mad about Boondocks. People accused the show of being racist.
Oh, I totally understand that about Boondocks. I didn't understand your point about Boondock Saints. I mean, that's like, why are people mad about that depiction of Irish Americans? Anyway, go ahead.
So we've got here, this is from Nick Gillespie. Says, sure, the reboot of your wildly popular, long-lived, eponymous...
Episodic.
Eponymous.
Eponymous.
Yeah, eponymous. 1990 sitcoms is a ratings hit. But all the smartest people who are acting like you just finished singing the national anthem at the San Diego Padres game circa 1990, or dressing up like Lady Hitler and burning cookies, or pushing Pizzagate, the most completely insane Hillary Clinton conspiracy theory of them all, or recovering memories that your parents molested you and then retracting them. How can you come from low-class roots, become massively successful in showbiz, and then be pro-Donald Trump and pro-abortion at the same time? It just doesn't make sense, according to all the smartest pundits in the country and at least one of your former co-stars. Can't you see that you're tearing us apart? It's not news. That's real-life Roseanne, who ran for president back in 2012 with anti-war activist Cindy Sheehan as her VP. She's a Trump supporter. But the shock of someone being funny on network television and playing an unapologetic, unironic Trumpista at the same time is not just too much for some of us to bear. To paraphrase Nixon, we're all snowflakes now. But who gave you the right? The person who popularized the once iconic term domestic goddess before it was glammed up by Nigella Lawson, and before being downclassed by Charlie Sheen to be messing with our political cultural categories yet again. Here's Roseanne's case for Donald over Hillary way back in June. I like Trump because he financed his own campaign. That's the only way he could have gotten the nomination, because nobody wants a president who isn't from Yale or the Harvard or in the club. Because it's all about distribution. When you're in the club, you've got people that you sell to. That's how money changes hands. That's how businesses work. If you've got friends there, Jesus, it sounds like Trump talking.
And never mind that like half of it isn't even accurate.
And Trump is saying people have to be vetted. We'll have to have legal immigration. It's all a scam. I mean illegal immigration. When people come here, they get a lot of benefits that our veterans don't get. What's up with that? It sounds like Trump talking. Of course she likes him.
It does.
It's a meandering, wandering thing that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Roseanne has called herself a socialist at various points, by which she seems to mean a redistributionist rather than a latter-day Rosa Luxemburg. But she's also long trafficked in populist sentiment too. In her new sitcom, her titular character avers that Trump won the election because he at least talked about jobs. Her character, the real-life counterpart, like most Americans, are finding fewer and fewer touch points with the traditional political categories of Republican and Democrat, liberal and conservative. Now, this is coming from Nick Gillespie, who overruled me being... I was literally the only vice presidential candidate who wasn't given an interview at the national convention, and when I asked about one, they looked at me, kind of chuckled, and then started packing up their gear. And then got behind Mr. Well, he was a Republican governor. I mean, these are the champions of Gary Johnson and Bill Weld based on, well, people aren't going to like Trump. People aren't going to like Trump because he's not status quo. Well, I'm glad, Nick, 3 years later, you could finally catch up with what I was telling people at the convention. People aren't interested in status quo politicians anymore. Glad you could finally figure that out. I wonder if in 2020 he'll be supporting another Republican retread status quo politician as the Libertarian candidate for president or vice president like he did in 2016. Will he be champion of Bill Weld 2020 like he was with Gary Johnson 2016? Will he be champion more of the moderate vanilla milk toast? Let's regurgitate the same crap that the GOP and the moderate Democrats have been regurgitating for the last 15 years? Or is he actually going to get behind candidates who are different, fresh, new, actually believe the words that are coming out of their mouth? Who knows?
I think we know.
Right.
It's just depressing.
Simply stating, conventional groupings we've inherited and revised endlessly since the 60s are pretty much as played out as the Comstock lode. As political scientist Morris Fiorina writes, in Unstable Majorities, political groupings pushed by party activists and media elites can no longer cobble together sustainable coalitions that can hold power for extended periods of time. Those coalitions, after all, were created for very different times and places. The Cold War, for instance, and before Japan and China emerged as economic superpowers. Basically, all the left-wing folks are really unhappy. Virginia, former Reason editor Virginia Postrel does what most observers fail to do. She explains to viewers who presumably don't share Roseanne's bar of Trump or belief that John Podesta was molesting children at pizza shops, are nonetheless digging her show. Well, it's a family sitcom with the fundamental sweetness that typifies the genre. Its politics are the politics of recognition and empathy, and it belongs not with Fox News, but with ABC's other family comedies like Blackish, which enjoyed a big boost in ratings from its powerful new lead-in, fresh off the boat. Most Americans aren't blue-collar Midwestern whites, affluent West Coast blacks, or Taiwanese immigrants living in Orlando, but most do have families and enjoy a laugh. The radical premise of Roseanne and of these family sitcoms is that recognizing diverse viewpoints and voices, including those that don't assume that we take for granted is the norm, can in fact showcase the things that we share. What we have in common is at least as important as what divides us. And hopefully next week we will bring more to you that will bring folks together across the listener spectrum. We'll have, we're going to bring somebody on from the Libertarian Socialist Caucus next week. So maybe we can get accused of being socialists by the Nazis, and that'll bring us all a little closer together. We'll see you next week on Monday, same time, same place. But don't you go anywhere, because Free Talk Live's coming up next. Nighttime.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode